You're on your own. Awesome. Wow. Do you have a clue what happens now? Oh,
Before we get going, Mindheart isn't obligated to watch, reply, or do anything with this. I'd like to state that what will be judged by this isn't going to be my words, Leo Convoy's words, or even Mindheart's words. It'll be the actions and end results. It'll be if Mint actually does get out of her household and get to a safe environment. I have my doubts. I've expressed those, and I'm going to express these in this video. I look forward to being wrong. I look forward to being ridiculed and mocked for being wrong and making the wrong decision. I'm not looking forward to saying I told you so, if that doesn't happen.
Never apologize. It's a sign of weakness.
Greetings, friends. I'm FNGR, and I fucked up. So, Thursday of this week, I had a call with Mindheart, Misanthropony, Leo Convoy Reviews, and I believe a couple other people. Before I go any further, Mindheart has been dealt a bad hand. There's presumably no right way to play this hand or handle this situation, whatever metaphor or actuality you wish to use here. She's presumably in a bad household where her mother's boyfriend, who may or may not be an illegal immigrant, made advances on Mindheart when she was sleeping. The advice, the potential best advice, I'm not sure if this is the best advice in this case, was to go to the police and then get out of the household. Mindheart is 16. She's the second oldest of 4 siblings. Making this choice to leave means leaving 2 brothers and I believe 1 sister behind, the sister being the oldest. That's not an easy decision to make. I'm doing this by memory. It's 5 a.m. currently when I'm writing this. Friday, Mindheart was supposed to have the people who were in charge of deportation, I forget the name right now, show up, talk to her, separately from her mom. That was what was supposed to happen. That's what I was told, and I believe a few others were told that that was what was supposed to happen. Naturally, anyone can speak up down below. After Mindheart spoke to her guidance counselor, they reported the matter. One way or another, the police became aware of the GoFundMe on Twitter. I've been told recently that's due to perhaps someone at PayPal. Meaning if they saw Mindheart's Twitter, they likely saw my video. I was made aware the police had no intention of removing Mindheart from her house, and despite there being allegedly a recording from Mindheart catching her mom in call siding with the boyfriend over her daughter. I have not heard the recording. When things started to go sideways, I suggested refunding the GoFundMe, and I was told in call that would raise suspicion. I brought that up, that it wouldn't serve Mindheart, much less the people pledging her, if the mom ended up with the money. I also had concerns with the person who was in charge of the GoFundMe money. Someone suggested said person withdraw the funds themselves. That person said they didn't feel comfortable doing that. By the way, said person doesn't necessarily go by they, them. I'm just intentionally not giving any clues to who this is for legal reasons. I do need to ask a question. The police were going to be watching that GoFundMe in all likelihood. If the people who were pledging were refunded, how upset could people possibly be to receive a refund? The money could always be raised again at a later date. The longer that it waited, and with the more money there, the more awkward it would have been, which, again, when I did originally ask that the money be refunded, I believe it was around $1,000. I haven't looked recently. I should have a recent picture up for the video. Anyone who donated $1, $15, or even $100 who got refunded that couldn't afford it later on after getting their money back shouldn't have given it in the first place. Mindheart, I'm going to admit when I got into this situation originally, due to a series of GoFundMes in the Brony fandom, I was tapped on the shoulder by a couple of fans and friends that Mindheart was having a GoFundMe, and I was to look into it. There's still a call on Fan and Frenzy right now, before the blackmail video, which if that goes missing, there'll be a copy of it up on BitChute. But let's put a pin in that for now. I asked Mindheart, who had to go to school then work, and after speaking to Leo Convoy, I felt that I had what I needed to know. I was in the middle of scripting, and I was nagging my editor Lilac for a different video, when Mint tapped me on the shoulder that she could do the video that night. I could have opted out at this point. You can call it me just being curious, or I felt that I had expressed an interest in the first place, but I took the call, and during the stream, I said despite talking to someone of the people I'm associated with, I can do the call as long as I don't endorse the GoFundMe. During the stream, after things got emotional, I said, I believed in Mint. I gave bad advice during the stream. I can hide behind the fact that all advice in that situation is bad, just the same as doing nothing. I'm not experienced in this situation, and I'm willing to wager most people aren't. I even said in an earlier call that I had 6 questions. I'm going to read those now. You talked about allegations of your mother's boyfriend's abuse. Have you tried to contact the authorities? This has presumably happened. That's why the police showed up. 2. How recent has the abuse began? I believe it was within a week. Probably, most likely, much sooner. 3. Does your mother's boyfriend have any kind of criminal record, i.e. do you know his name, what they look like, etc.? I don't believe Minhart had any criminal history. I presume that she did know his name. I could be wrong. There is, in fact, a stream to Misanthropony's channel where Mint and a couple other people talk about the situation. I haven't seen it yet. I encourage all of you to go check it out. 4. How long did your mom and her ex-boyfriend break up? I just wanted to know if the boyfriend was in the process of moving out. That did not seem to be the case. 5. Your mother said that she gave you 2 weeks to contact the police about sexual abuse. Why, I can't give you legal advice. I would be happy to look up the statute of limitations in your state in stream for the best I can think of. And the charge, which again I'm not a lawyer, I was just guessing at, would have been statutory rape. I'm told that sexual abuse would have been a better fit. And I said I'm fairly confident, but not legally sure, that you should still have lots of time if you choose to pursue this, in regards to statute of limitations and how much time that she had to reply. That's probably very easy. Fairly easily within the limits. 6. I understand you're in a bad situation, but with prices of food, water, electricity, etc., I understand other situations I've heard that, for example, Sega Sister, despite raising well over $9,000, I've never found out that she ever got out of her situation. She was older and she even had a better place to go. Do you have a place to go? Money can go rather quickly. I recall when Theory Brony back in the day raised up some money and he blew through it a week or so. And I don't remember, I'm pretty sure this was asked though. 7, do you have any other family members to turn to? I was looking for this to be in out, no fuss, no muss. 5 to 10 minutes turned into well over an hour plus. I've had previously bad situations with Mint and someone else that I felt were used against me. I wanted to go in, do the responsible thing, cross all the T's, dot all the I's, and I fucked up. I started thinking if the police showed up, would some of the people involved consider throwing me under the bus? Again, without mentioning any names, I'm trying not to use definitively anything like plural or singular. There were people involved who've been amused before when I've been flagged, and I wouldn't put it past them to take a bad situation and attempt to legally lump this on me if worse came to worse. Recently, I've been told that Misanthropony did a stream on his channel. Oh, I did mention that, but here goes again, where Mintheart's mom had an appearance for 40 minutes. I'm told it wasn't pleasant due to potential legal backlash, which may or may not happen. I feel very comfortable opting out of this situation. Again, Friday, the person who was in touch with Mint more than anyone else at that time, I was incapable of seeing eye to eye with. There were people who were in charge of the money, or singular or plural, person or persons, were asked that they could potentially take the money. They said that they didn't feel comfortable, and that's understandable. I didn't believe that they were going to take the money and run, but there seemed to be a concern that if the money came out, it was just the impression that I had, that the police would get the wrong idea. I'm not sure how that would change with time. My question here is, if the money was to be taken out, what were you going to do? Pray like hell that you would not be arrested? Go acquire Mintheart with a non-existing car without a non-existent license? Hand the money over? Slip Mintheart out of her house? Take her wherever? And for my best available option for Mint was to try and get her to go with her dad, who at that time she hadn't told any of this had happened. Now there's a bunch of mights, maybes, or possiblies, or possible outcomes out there that could happen there. If Mint had just moved in with her dad and none of this would have been necessary. We can't say if he would have said no or if he knew the full story or not. Again, I just wanted to go with what I perceived was the best, legal, safest outcome. There is, of course, no guarantee it would work. I feel that's safe, no thrills, the abridged version of things. And for those of you who don't want the warts and all version, you can click off here. Thank you for your time and have a nice day. During the stream with Mintheart, I did one out. Before the stream, I did one out. After the stream, I did one out. Many of my friends and fans don't trust Mintheart, and when I talked about warts and all, I never brought up any of this in the stream. Mintheart, and I did talk to Mint about this before in private, and she felt that my concerns were valid. Mintheart had relations with 3 to 4 pedophiles in the Brony fandom. This was the girl we were going to raise money so that she could take care of herself at the age of 16, with a part-time job at McDonald's with no hard and fast place to go in the long run. And I thought it felt like maybe the people behind this needed a sucker, and Anthony walked in the door. The odd thing is that when Mintheart thanked me exactly when I knew I had to get the hell out of there. I was getting flashbacks to when someone said, "Don't worry, I'm not going to cover you," and then dropped a video on me the next day. During a call Friday, Leo, Stepius, and a few others sat in and talked this all out. The same thing where I asked about the refund and was dismissed. I went looking for a way out, and I found a forum where I got one, and I reacted poorly. When I swore, I screamed, I swore racial obscenities in call, and kicked someone out. That absolutely happened. This isn't uncharacteristic of myself, but it really was the world's worst timing. It's also not entirely uncharacteristic for someone who's having their name withheld. Now, I'd like to be able to say, I'm not equipped to deal with things like these. And pass the buck. I said that a long time ago in situations like these. It should be more than me and blank. More people up the food chain should be handling things like these. You can argue it was based off of what happened next. I was wrong. The individual who was running the GoFundMe had Shelly D call to threaten that he would have my family doxxed if I didn't get re-involved. I can no longer turn to Josh Scorcher, Dr. Wolf, Lightning Bliss, or anyone else for that matter and say that you have a duty and responsibility to help with the community even when dealing with someone you'd rather not. During the stream, we saw the donations spike $100 at least twice. I feel like I've done enough to bow out. And here's the catch-22. If I argued that I just wanted out without saying anything, I believe blank would argue, "Gee, Anthony, you're not going to warn what may well have been your fans that they got taken." If I do speak up, I feel that blank would say I was enabling a pedophile for molesting a girl. I don't trust Mintheart. Call it petty. Whether it had been Brixie, Dark Edge, Keyblade, or the director, the 3 to 4 pedophiles, I believe Mintz tried to claim that the Brixie situation was a joke. That's 3 that weren't. With all due respect, as hardworking and determined as Mintheart is, I have a hard time thinking that she'll make the right decisions. It's not that it's impossible. I'll say this right now. There are second opinions out there that are completely valid. Leo Convoy, someone I deeply respect, has all the faith in the world on Mintheart. By all means, get a second opinion. By all means, go trust or ask Miss Anthropony. You can go talk to any of the people in that stream. I am the odd man out here. If you want to see FNGR, you pulled your support when your Fifis got hurt. Whether blank was serious or not, I'll remind you this. In the time that blank decided to give me a hard time and having Sheldon contact me and lure me into call, he could have easily just have put a video together himself. He could have read off those same 6 questions, and he could have answered themselves. They wouldn't have had Mintheart. However, during the keyframe GoFundMe situation, I'd like to point out that there was a significant amount of money that raised into the 5 digits, and keyframe didn't appear in any of those videos, so actually having the person involved isn't absolutely necessary. After all blank's words are just as good as Mint's. In my opinion, they're not. You can call me a coward, but if that's the case, I could have offered to throw $100 at Mintheart in an attempt to make this go away. It was day 2 of the GoFundMe video cycle. GoFundMe videos typically peter out after 2 days. Again, Miss Anthropony's channel, who was in the call, had 12,000 subscribers and views. He's had videos that have clocked into 100,000 for some of his better videos, which, update, that video now stands at 1,000 views after 1 day. He could have made a faster, more sincere video that could have tugged on everyone's heartstrings, raised more support, and best of all, not involved me. I believe in innocent until proven guilty, but due to some of the people involved in that, who clearly believe the absolute worst in me. If I had someone younger who needed help and assistance, just for an example, if I had someone like, say, Carol the Wolf or Spoctor Theory offering to help in a situation like this, and I thought they were guilty, I would literally say no. I wouldn't take the chance. Doing so would be kinda reckless. Prepare for the worst, and the best things will happen. Those best things aren't necessarily good things. Mint, while I don't trust you, I hope things work out for you. I'll include a link to your Twitter. Please don't bully or harass. If you feel that Mintheart deserves your support, you're an individual, I'm going to need you to think for yourself. Maybe you're right. Truth is, if Mint would have been with her dad by now, I still would have snapped down the call, the stream. Would we still be here? And before we go, this is Eden, aka Buttons. I met Mint said that she was fine with me pulling my support. Speaking of pulling my support, Quillstroke. When I kept trying to ask about refunding the money, you kept blathering how that would raise suspicion. And then what? The police were already aware of the GoFundMe. What were they going to do? Seize the money before it got back to the original donors? I did originally think I got impatient. Yeah, I totally did. But Pastel Pros told me about me that you were running around screaming at anyone who didn't want to get on board for this. You're free to do what you like in your own rooms, but I hope you're not getting into any ideas of you doing this over in the Rift, much less for Limbo. One more thing before we go. Spoken Mind. First, thank you. Because of you, I did realize I needed to apologize to much more than Leo, who confronted me about that relatively quickly. On the other hand, you've recently flagged down a video of mine, or a video featuring my content on someone else's channel. This is Winged Fusion. He is a titanic ass. He hosted 15 minutes of the stream I did. I won't say which one, but it was unlisted, and Spoken Mind pulled a mundane mat and flagged it down. It was Buttons Meltdown. I'm not going to play the scene here because Lord knows it drags on. But I've had a couple of people point out that the exact same joke that Buttons had a meltdown about, she's laughing about elsewhere. Okay, that was pretty
No,
spot.
she sounds more Mexican than that.
Oh, she
Hey,
does?
Buttons, do you take constructive criticism?
Yes, I do.
Never fucking do that again.
Okay, that has nothing to do with it. That's just a stupid... But it's dumb, stupid shit like this, which is why I wanted to get along with you, Buttons. You're
It's not there.
horrible
Go
to
into
hang
the
with.
check cashing place and tell them that the doctor said you could use the phone. I have a deal with them.
Jesus.
They've been paid off long ago because their security man's a real, kind of a penis. I find him to be quite the penis at times, so I decided to go above him and take care of that one myself, and now they let me use the phone.
I love your voice. Oh my god.
How much of a penis do you feel that Leo Convoy individual is?
Oh, on the level of, let me think here. Parking lot security at Del Paso Plaza Shopping Center, that would be that's about an 80th.
Okay. Not the example either. Focus. Breathe.
That sounds like a meditation.
He's a real penis in my vagina, and not in the good way.
Oh my!
In sort of the East Area rapist kind of way.
Not that again. That's what she said.
no.
Anyways, moving right along.
Oh, Jesus.
It's okay. Don't bug her. Don't bug her. Ugh.
Oh, fuck.
You just got that, didn't you?
Now, I understand comedy is about timing. The time Buttons did hear the same joke, it was a bit more stressful, tensions were a bit higher, but you can stop acting like you were incapable of physically hearing the joke. Now, on Fusion's side, he could have hosted the clip on a side channel, so if it did get flagged, there would have been no downside other than a re-upload at most. On the other hand, due to Spoken Mind, his channel got demonetized because of this. You do understand that YouTube is shitty enough with Google doing everything it can to make the situation worse and worse. With all the claims, the bullshit strikes, this, that, and the other, the video would have likely have gotten 10 to 20 views unlisted. It's not like it was in the YouTube search algorithm. It was, again, unlisted. It wasn't going to go viral. Hell, if push came to shove, Fusion could have just hosted the video from a Google Drive or BitChute or then put it up on Rabbit. There was no need to do anything that you did. I'm not going to show the thumbnail here. As much as Buttons is pissing me the hell off, it was admittedly a lot. Granted, my level of sympathy is fucking eroded as all hell at this point. Again, in closing, in Minhart's case, I hope things work out for you. Buttons, I have no advice for you because you're right back to where you were 2 months ago. 1 month ago? Either or. Spoken mind. Stop thinking with your heart you're going to turn into butt and confidentially thank you. I'm not going to do the thank you, fuck you, bye here this time, just plain thank you.